Hi, everybody. What's up? I'm Dr. Duck Vollen, world famous bariatric surgeon, author of 13 books. You might recognize me from my viral video, How Coronavirus Kills You. That got 16 million views here last spring. So I'm a retired bariatric surgeon. Why am I talking about coronavirus? Well, it's because the number one risk factor for poor outcomes from coronavirus is not diabetes, not high blood pressure, not pulmonary issues, but it's actually morbid obesity. It's not age. So I created what's called the Kind Coronavirus Community, the KCC, Kind Coronavirus Community. We talk about the science behind coronavirus. I don't care about your politics. Even if you're a Democrat, I would call you out on your bullshit. So there's a new study that no one's talking about. It's actually an interim report from World Health Organization looking at the effects of remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, and interferon. So I want to talk about that today. We're going to actually look at the actual study. So we're going to leave politics out of it. While we're waiting, let's say where you're coming from. Hi, Laurie. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Bernice. If you're watching this on the replay, you can fast forward it to about the 5-minute mark. That's when I'll get started. Hey, Daisy Martinez. Good morning. Redmond, Oregon. Kathy Hill. Nicole. I'm also going to test myself. This is my COVID-19 rapid test. It's an antibody test. Do it with a little finger prick. I will test myself on screen today to see. Who wants to know? Am I positive or negative? What's your status? You got to know what your status is, right? Toronto's in the house. That makes me officially internationally famous. Yay, way to go. What's up, Danielle? Illinois, Montana's in the house. Wow, look at that, Rita. I want to go to Hawaii. Please come take me to Hawaii. Deborah Bieber. You related to Justin? That'd be awesome. Sonoma, what's up? Sonoma, South Florida, winter. Wisconsin's in the house. Morning glory. Czech Republic. That's it. It's official. I am internationally famous. Look at that. Mammy from Sweden's watching. Look at that. I love it. Ashley Kirby from upstate New York. What's up, California? Mia Lynn from Westview Place. It's a couple of Michigans in the house. Oh, Sandra Demore from the Netherlands. Awesome. All right. Jersey's in the house. So I'm going to test myself on live today, find out my status. That's super important. I'm also going to talk about this new study no one's talking about. It's an interim report. It's from the World Health Organization. It was released October 15th. Today is October 18th. That's important that we know. So this report was just released and no one's really talking about it, right? And we're going to break it down about is remdesivir helpful? What about hydroxychloroquine? What about interferon? And we're going to go from there. And I'll test myself too. Linda Notter's in the house. Remeron, they're studying that. Remeron, not Remeron, Regeneron. What's up, Kathleen for Amazing Grace? North Florida's in the house. All right. Oh, I would start a fire there. We got down to 65 degrees and I started a fire here. Fort Worth, Texas. That's right, Sue. Everybody get out and vote. This is non-political. We're talking about the science behind this. In case you missed it the other day, on Friday, I broke down the report from Trump, where he said 85% of mask wearers catch coronavirus. I broke down that report, and I think we showed that it's kind of a misrepresentation of the truth. So thank you guys for sharing. Atlanta's in the house. What's up, Elena? Hope you're doing good. Fellow immigrant. Peggy Frazier from Spokane, Washington, California. What's up, Connie? All right, Bay Area. Stay safe, Orwell. Wife works for Gilead. Uh-oh. Victoria, I'm also currently in Houston. The Bronx. What's up, John? Ohio's in the house. Reno, Nevada. All right. What's up, Phyllis Avery, longtime follower. PA's in the house. Monica Rooney. Terry, what's up? Lansing, Michigan. How are you doing? All right. Better wear your mask and shield. Sure did. Okay, guys, let's get going. Let me drink. This is some matcha green tea. That's a young baby Dr. V. Can you see that? That's my first practice when I first opened up. I had an art gallery in my office. That's how stupid I was. Who wants to go see a doctor with an art gallery? I was a silly boy. Silly boy. Okay, so hey guys, welcome to this broadcast. I'm Dr. Vuong, world famous bariatric surgeon, author of 13 books. Why am I talking about coronavirus? It's because the number one risk factor for poor outcomes from coronavirus is not age, it's not diabetes, it's actually morbid obesity. So this is really affecting my following. And I'm going to talk today about a new report that just came out on October 15th. Today is October 18th. I spent yesterday reading up on it. And I want to break that down for you guys today. All right. So you're going to start seeing this in the news in the next couple of days. One of the things that I like to do is try to get ahead so that we're not reactive, that we plan and prepare you guys to protect yourselves. World Health Organization, you know, it is what it is. It's got some issues right now. I'm actually going to show you this actual report. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. We're going to talk about the science behind it. Is it a good study? Is it not a good study? We're also going to talk about hydroxychloroquine, interferon, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so and let's do some numbers really quick. Today is October 18th. The United States is currently still in its first wave. We are not in our third wave. We've never gotten over the first wave. Okay, so in July we hit, I think the highest one day total we had was around 75,000 cases, but we averaged about 70,000 cases. And then finally our leaders were like, well, this shit's not working. Maybe we should roll back. So that we started closing down the beaches, locking down the cities again. And then the numbers went down. We got down to about 35,000 to 40,000 range, really around 40,000. And then what? Open up the schools, open up the fucking schools, open up the universities. Got to have my football, got to have football and baseball, right? And so now they started climbing back up. And instead of saying, well, our numbers going back up, maybe we should like rethink this strategy. No, let's just keep going, fuckers. Let's just ram her, get her done. So you start, you know, we kept going, and universities opened back up. And now look at us. Today's October 18th. And a couple days ago, we had 70,000 cases again. So basically July, August, September, we learned nothing. We learned nothing from our spike in July. Now, some people might go, but Dr. Vuong, Europe's not doing so hot either. Well, I've been talking about Europe in my challenge group for about a month and a half before anybody started talking about it. I said, look, there's something happening in Spain. Their numbers are going up really badly. And this was back when France had nothing, had low cases. UK was all celebrating. I said, I think Europe is about to hit its second wave. I said this about 2 months ago. And now we are in a full-blown second wave. And some people say, well, they're not any better. Well, listen, they had a normal, decent summer. They at least had 2 months where they crushed it down. They got the cases low. Now their people got a break from it, right? So they got to go out. They got to live a little bit. Now they're going to shut back down again. And some countries are doing a full lockdown. France just went down in like a pretty extreme lockdown. UK is slowly rolling out lockdowns, and there's protests there too. There are arguments about it. It is what it, you know, and I hate saying that because that's gotten a bad rap now. It is what it is, but it's true. That's just where we are. So you can sit there and say, you know, look at Europe, it's not doing so good. Well, I mean, France is like 20,000 cases, which at their peak back in April is 5,000 cases. So it's four times. But we are not. I mean, we have in the US, we have 70,000 cases a day. Why the fuck are we even bragging? What are we bragging about? This is really ridiculous, you know? So Americans, I don't know what we're doing. So here's a problem. This is what happens when you get into politics and leave behind the science. If you go back to my early videos, I said, and this was when we're going to talk about hydroxychloroquine real quick, and then we're going to go into the study. I said, hydroxychloroquine, hydroxy, see if I can spell this right, chloroquine, didn't make any sense. Okay. So when this first started and everybody was trying to tout hydroxychloroquine, et cetera, I said, guys, if you understand how hydroxychloroquine works, it doesn't make any sense. You got to have hydroxychloroquine on board before you catch coronavirus. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. And you need some zinc in there too. So it's not hydroxychloroquine by itself. It also involves zinc. So no, Dr. Wrong, the person tells us and now look, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. And nobody's giving hydroxychloroquine. So if your doctor is giving you hydroxychloroquine, I would find a new doctor. I really, really would. So now the new therapeutics, Trump, when he got it, he had COVID very early. We see very early in his course. And they've released this. So this is public news. Don't even go there with, you're not his doctor. Why are you talking about him? You know, you got an issue, person. Like, I'm just explaining what you can find readily in the news. Okay, so chill the fuck out. Trump, very early in his course, got taken to Walter Reed Hospital. There we know he received some supplements like vitamin D, zinc. But medicine-wise, he got Remdesivir, methazone, and the Regeneron cocktail. Regeneron is the company. It's not the medicine. I might have misspelled Remdesivir. So now here's what the average person doesn't understand. There is no study where there's one person that's considered a good study. That's called a case study, and that's one of the lowest level evidences. Because the truth of the matter is, we don't really know which one medicine got President Trump better. It could have been the combination. It could have been two of the three, or three of the six. He could have gotten better by himself. That's why this isn't considered science, right? When somebody says, "Oh, I took this medicine and it made me feel better," right? Well, it could have been a placebo. It could have been a sugar pill. I'm not saying they gave President Trump a sugar pill. I'm just saying that when someone says, "I took this supplement and it made me better," that's not evidence. That's not science. Okay. So now the World Health Organization, and we're going to pull this up here in a second. The World Health Organization on October 15th released a new study on Remdesivir. See if I can spell it right this time. Remdesivir. Okay. So this literally just came out 3 days ago, and let's take a look at it. Okay. Now this is what's called an interim report. And this is the same, it's an ongoing study. And this is the same study that debunked hydroxychloroquine the first time. Who remembers that? About, I guess it would have been July, no, early August. They said, you know, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. Then you had the weird witch doctor lady come out. The demon semen lady, remember? The doctor here in Houston who said that demons come to you in the middle of the night and impregnate you. To which I responded, "Oh, great. We have a lady who's promoting demon semen." And that's, and you know, Trump makes the mistake of sharing that information and tweeting it and retweeting it. And I'm just like, and it doesn't matter. I don't care the color. Red or blue. I mean, if a Democrat president had done the same thing, I would have been like, what the hell is wrong with you, person? All right. So that's right, Matt Sims, astral plane orgies. So let's take a look at this study. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. This is super important. All right. Cool. All right. Can y'all see this? I'm going to zoom in. This is, okay, here we go. This is a preprint server. So in other words, this abstract has been submitted, but it has not been peer reviewed. That's super important that you guys understand this. It's the actual study is called Repurposed Antiviral Drugs for COVID-19, Interim World Health Organization Solidarity Trial Results. So the thing that we're looking at is the Solidarity Trial, right? And this was released October 15th. It has not been peer reviewed. Let's read this together real quick. Okay. They looked at mortality trials on hospitalized COVID-19 for 4 repurposed drugs. The drugs were Remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir, and interferon beta 1, right? That's it. Remdesivir has, as I've said before, is not approved for any diseases worldwide, right? It doesn't help. They were hoping it would help with Ebola, maybe AIDS and HIV. It showed 0 benefit in any of those diseases. And somehow we started touting it as this miracle cure for coronavirus. They also looked at hydroxychloroquine, which we already talked about. I don't know much about lopinavir and interferon. You can use those to treating hepatitis and a bunch of other diseases. All right. COVID-19 inpatients. So these were people in the hospital, were randomized between locally available drugs and a control. So this is a control trial. It is randomized, right? And they were looking at intent to treat of four things. They were looking at death. They were looking at mortality, dying. They looked at risk for intubation, and they were looking for hospital stay. Okay. This study involved 405 hospitals in 30 countries. So this study that's called the Solidarity Trial includes 30 different countries. That's important too. This is a global pandemic. You want to look at the worldwide data. You don't want to look at just data in your one little hospital, in your one little community. Okay, what are the bigger numbers? Okay, so it's 405 hospitals in 30 countries. 11,266 adults were randomized. That's important that you understand that. It's randomized. So they randomly either received treatment or did not receive treatment. And then they looked and saw the results. So 2,750 were allocated Remdesivir, 954 hydroxychloroquine, 1411 lopinavir, and 651 interferon plus lopinavir, 1412 interferon only, and compare that to 4,088 no study drug. Compliance was good, 1,253 deaths, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so conclusions. Here we go. No study drug definitely reduced mortality in unventilated patients or in other subgroup of entry characteristics. So no drug affected any type of patients. Initiation of ventilation or hospitalization duration. So no drug, none of those 4 drugs reduced mortality, held off ventilator, or decreased hospitalization stay. So conclusions: Remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir, and interferon regimens appeared to have little or no effect on hospitalized COVID-19s, as indicated by overall mortality, initiation of ventilation, and duration of hospital stay. The mortality findings contain most of the randomized evidence on Remdesivir are consistent with meta-analysis of mortality in all major trials. Okay, so that's pretty much the study. It's an interim report. Okay, so let me recapture these for you guys. So what number am I? 3. So this is a CDC, a World Health Organization interim report, randomized, prospective study of 11,000 plus patients. All right. This, if you recall my talk on Friday a couple of days ago about studies. You want big studies. Though a study that President Trump was talking about, that 85% of people have who wear masks catch COVID, only had 154 people in that arm and 160 or so people in the control group. So that's not good. And it was also a retrospective survey. It was looking back and taking a survey for people who already knew their status. It's a very weak study. This is a much better study. Okay, this is a much better study. The World Health Organization, remember, this is 405 hospitals, huge number, 30 different countries, 11,000 plus patients. Over, what was it, 2,700 received Remdesivir. All right. And it was randomized and it was prospective. And the study shows, I'm going to say suggests, because not really should suggest, no benefit with Remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, and interferon. Okay. Now this is super important. I'm going to tell you what you won't see is our politicians talking about this. This is not sexy. It's not hopeful. It's another nail in the coffin, as they say. It's another failure. But like Edison, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, who tried something like 1,000 different filaments before he found the right one. And he said, and a reporter asked him, Professor Edison, like, what kept you going? Like you failed 1,000 times trying to invent this light bulb. And he said, I haven't failed 1,000 times. I've discovered 1,000 ways it doesn't work. So problem is, a lot of people who are scared of science or misunderstand science, they'll think of this as like a setback, bad news. Dr. Vong, you're a fear monger, you're a naysayer, you're like, I don't know why you didn't pay more attention in school. I am not fear mongering. I am not a naysayer. I am just pointing out this thing called science. The last time you watched anything about science, it was a movie from the 80s called Weird Science. Right? And Kelly LeBrock. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is Kelly LeBrock. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. So as long as a country or as a world, we don't embrace the scientific method, we will always have division, right? We have a real world, real time, real life scientific method happening before our eyes. That's all this is. We jumped on the Remdesivir bandwagon with a couple of small studies, and now we've grown it to a bigger study. And now the interim report seems to indicate that there is no benefit with Remdesivir. Okay. So what we have to remember is that this isn't failure. This is getting closer and closer to the truth, right? But you're not going to hear this come from our leadership. Why not? Because he was like, I got Remdesivir. It was amazing. It's a cure. It's not a fucking cure. Okay, so I want to say this right now. We currently do not have a cure for coronavirus. This is important because some of our leadership is saying this, and it is a mistake to mislead people. There is in no way on God's green earth are we even close to a cure. And even a vaccine is not a cure. Dr. Vong, what if we get a vaccine? A vaccine is not a cure. Okay, I promise you. And give me a second before you guys jump on my case. A vaccine is not going to be a cure, right? It's going to suppress the transmission rate so that coronavirus becomes what's called endemic. You've heard of epidemic. And then starting in March of 2020, you learned the word pandemic. Put this in the comment section for me. Now I'm going to teach you a new word, endemic, endemic, endemic. That's the new word for you guys, right? Coronavirus is going to become endemic. It is going to be with us for a long time. And then we're going to forget about it until next time. Why is vaccine until the next super virus comes? Why is a vaccine not a cure, Dr. Vong? Why is a vaccine not a cure? Because several reasons, but pay attention right now. A vaccine will not be a cure for several reasons. Number one, in order for a vaccine to pass, they are hoping, well, they are hoping for 70% effectiveness, but they will pass a vaccine if it's 50% effective. So number 7, a vaccine needs to be only 50% effective to get approved. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know about you, but the last time I checked, anything that's 50% effective is a coin toss. Heads or tails, yes or no. You take it or you don't take it. Now, listen, some fuckers out there are going to say, but Dr. Vong, 50% effective is better than 0, isn't it, Dr. V? And the answer is we don't know. We don't know, right? Why don't we know? Well, we don't know what will be the side effects. Are there side effects? Like a lot of people who have a flu vaccine, seasonal flu vaccine, experience flu-like symptoms. Did they catch the flu? Most likely not. Did it trigger a higher immune response that made them feel like they had body aches and fevers? And yes, right? So do you want to do that for a 50% effective vaccine? Well, that's what the seasonal flu vaccine often is 50% effective. But yet we take it by the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars worth, right? So there's a financial cost to it. Now, number 8, and I'll do another broadcast about that. We currently do not know about this problem. Now, our President Trump says that he's immune to, I don't know. He goes, I don't know, maybe I'm immune, maybe not. I don't know. Like, dude, I think I'm immune. I think I'm cured. I think I can't catch anymore. That's what they say. Maybe they say. Some people say, maybe they say. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Who talks like that? We currently do not know about lasting immunity. We have good cases now of people. We have good cases. We have good evidence now of people catching the coronavirus a second time. So we don't know. And in fact, there was something like, I think in the Netherlands, maybe, the first person just died from his second case of coronavirus. He survived it the first time, caught it again, and died the second time. So we currently do not know about lasting immunity. That means we currently don't know if you get a vaccine for coronavirus, will it last? How long will it last for? Will it last for the rest of your life, like measles or chickenpox? Or will it need a booster shot, like hepatitis B? Or will it not work at all, like HIV? You guys understand that it's been, 1990-ish, 91, Magic Johnson announced he had HIV. So mid-85, we'll call it 1990 because that's when it became to the American conscious, make the math easier. That's 30 years. If you say early 80s, that's 40 years. And we don't have a vaccine for HIV, guys. We don't. We might never have a vaccine for coronavirus, okay? We might not. It might become endemic, or it might be 50, 60% effective. And we immunize, we get enough of the public to buy or high-risk population. I don't know how they'll figure it out. High-risk populations, frontline workers, healthcare workers, They might be required by their jobs and nursing home people to get their annual every 6 months. We don't know coronavirus vaccination. We just don't know yet, right? Which equals ka-ching, 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 which is fine. I have nothing against people making money and business making money. They need to make money, but this needs to go into your decision making when you think about what's being said, the news, the politics. I hope that you guys recognize I'm trying to give you good scientific proof. So if you have found this helpful, then please hit share real quick. And then what I'm going to do is going to one more time show you the study. And then I am going to test myself right here live with my own COVID rapid test that I put together these kits. You can purchase these from me. The best way to get them from me is to go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Dr. Vuong. It's scrolling there at the bottom. Send me a message. Say, Dr. Vuong, I want to know about your COVID rapid test. These sell online from anywhere. Well, the test sells online. I'm the only one who makes these kits. The test sells online by itself for anywhere from $100 to $250. I will sell these kits for $500. So you're saving money there. But here's the big deal. Today, if you message me today, I will wholesale you these for $50. $50, minimum order of 40. Minimum order of 40. That's a $2,000 investment, but you can resell them. I'll send you 40. You keep 10 for yourself. You resell 30 at $100 each. That's $3,000. You made $1,000. You have 10 to use for yourself. I hope I did that math not too fast. Okay, so let me show you this study really quickly again. So let me share my screen. Okay, so what we're talking about here is this study. This is a report released by the World Health Organization on October 15th. Today is October 18th. This has not been peer reviewed. It's called the Solidarity Trial Results. And you can find this online. It has not been peer reviewed, but I don't expect it to change much. It is a study that is called the Solidarity Trial, run by the World Health Organization. It includes, here's the number right here, 405 hospitals in 30 countries. This is a global epidemic, so you have to show it from multiple countries. 11,266 adults were randomized. 2,750 were randomized. That means some people got it, some people didn't. 2,750 got Remdesivir, 954 got hydroxychloroquine, 1,411 got lopinavir, and 1,412 got interferon only, and 4,088 got no study drug. What they looked at was mortality, and they looked at delay to ventilation, initiation of ventilation, or hospital stay. And what they concluded was this: Remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir, and interferon regimens appeared to have little or no effect on hospitalized COVID-19, as indicated by mortality, initiation of ventilation, and duration of hospital stay. So this is the report, the Solidarity Trial interim report. Okay, no benefits. This study is a big, controlled, randomized, prospective study involving over 11,000 patients, 30 countries, 405 hospitals, 2,700 people got Remdesivir, and it shows no benefits in terms of decreased mortality, initiation of ventilation, or hospital stay. So the little early data reports do not factor out, do not translate to these larger studies. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about. There it is. There's your report. I hope you liked this video. I'm going to test myself with my COVID rapid test. And if you don't want to watch it, you can bug off. If you want to watch it, I'll take questions now. So get your questions ready. I'll pop those up while I do this test. Now listen, guys, if we want to get over coronavirus, We have to get past the bullshit. We have to stop politicizing it, and don't ever fucking say it's going to suddenly disappear on November 4th, right? The virus does not know your date and time, does not know what country you are in. It does not care about your American politics. It does not care what your race is, or your age, or your gender, or your sex, or your creed, or religion is. Stop politicizing it. It's a virus. No, Dr. Vaughn, when I say it's going to disappear November 4th, that means I'm trying to tell you that you're an idiot, and Democrats and the political machine is just making this a big thing to get our President Trump out of the White House. Now, listen, if you really believe that, then you're especially stupid, right? You don't belong on this page, quite honestly. And here I go saying, this is not the kind community talk, right? But what's going to help us is if we get past this, we need to wear a face mask. And I've been telling y'all, you got to wear a face mask and you got to wear a face shield. If you are in the colder climates up north, Canada, New York, Chicago, those areas up north, then you need to already be wearing a face mask and a face shield. Why? Because it's going to coincide with indoor events, which means more spreading of coronavirus, but you're also going to have influenza, so seasonal flu, and you got allergies, and people are going to be sneezing, coughing. You're going to be exposed to more droplets and infections and things like that. Okay, let me test myself real quick, and then I'll take questions. So I make these kits myself. Message me if you're interested in. And I will mail these to you, minimum order of 40. You got to get 40 for $50 each. So it's $2,000. I'll mail a package of these out to you. When you receive it, you'll open it like this. Very simple. It comes with a pair of gloves. You can use those if you want. You can wear them if your husband's a weenie and he won't prick himself, then you can, even though he's a little prick, you can wear the gloves and test him or your loved one. It comes with the rapid test itself. This is an antibody rapid test. It tests both IgM and IgG. It's a little finger prick, just like if you're a diabetic. I'm about to do the test on myself. It has everything you need. You don't need to send it to a lab. You don't have to have a nurse. You don't have to have anyone pick it up. You basically prick your finger. You put your blood into the cassette and read the results like a pregnancy test, except you don't pee on the test. Don't pee on my test. It's a finger prick, okay? So this will give you results in 10 minutes. It's 95% accurate, right? The nasal swabs, the stuff you put up your nose, is only about 60 to 70% accurate. These are 95%. They're 97% sensitive, 92% or so specific. I just say 97%. All right. So it also comes with an alcohol swab to clean your hand. Clean your little finger where you're going to prick it. A little Band-Aid. Isn't that cute? And the buffer solution and the little pinprick needle. You're not even going to feel it. It doesn't even hurt. Okay. I test myself about every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on my activity level. Get your questions ready, because after I test, we have to wait 10 minutes, and then I'll take your questions during that 10 minutes. All right. So what I'm going to do is move my laptop back. Hopefully I won't turn off the computer. Can y'all see that? Okay. So here's the test. You pull it open, and in it, you will see that, okay, there's a little silicone desiccant. Don't eat that. But here's the test right here. It's kind of bright, huh? I have yet to figure out how I'm going to do this. Okay, there we go. Okay, you see it? It says COVID-19 on the top. Okay. It has a blue line, and you know what? I'm going to pull up my picture of this here in a second, and I'll show a picture of it for you guys. Okay, and it comes in the test kit. It comes with this little pipette. What I do, here's your buffer solution. You open this up, you squeeze down the pipette, and you suck up all that solution into the pipette, and you just leave it there like that. Okay. Now you have this opened up. There's a blue line there. That blue line is going to turn pink. Oops, it's upside down. That blue line will turn pink to tell me it's a valid test. Here's the finger prick. Here's the Band-Aid. I'm going to open up my Band-Aid. You don't really even need to use the Band-Aid if you don't want to, but I'll open it up here. Have it ready to go. So I recommend you use your non-dominant hand, okay? And you want to avoid, you're going to do a finger prick. If you're a diabetic, this is the exact same thing as if you're a diabetic. So if you have big calluses, like you're a farmer or something like that, you want to avoid the big callus. I would say go off to the side a little bit, because a lot of times, you know, especially these days when we use our phone and stuff, if you prick it right in the middle of the pad of your finger, it might be a little sore. So I'll prick it off to the side a little bit and get a drop up, and then you'll wipe it into this cassette and then do the buffer. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, here we go. Take the alcohol, wipe my finger like that. I'm going to keep that handy. And here is the lance. It's a little tiny thing, right? This is just the cap. You put the cap down. You don't see a blade or anything, okay? There's no sharps here. And you're just going to prick it right off the side. It doesn't hurt. It's nothing, okay? And then you're just going to milk it like that. Now, if you have trouble, if you're a slow bleeder, you want to put it down below, down by your waist like this, and you'll get a real big drop. See that? That's a big drop of blood. That's all you need. Now, you're going to take it and you're going to put it in the top square hole. Like that. That's perfect. Okay? I got blood in there. Okay? Okay, you want to try to get it down into that circle as much as possible. Now, that's plenty of blood. I'm going to just take my alcohol, hold a little bit of pressure. Now, I'm going to take my pipette. Okay, now the buffer, you're going to put into the round square at the bottom here. The round square. Now, if you're like what I did, and I missed the well here, you see that? You can put a little bit of that buffer onto your blood sample there and bring it down like that too. Get that well going, okay? Kind of tap it down like that, okay? Now what you're gonna see is that blood is gonna start making its way up. It's pulling it up. Let me see. It's pulling it up. So you're gonna see that change colors to pink. I'm going to set the alarm here. I can already see that the solution is making its way up. Okay. See, look, I'm not even bleeding anymore. That's it. That was nothing. Didn't hurt, nothing. I'll put on my Band-Aid. Okay. It's, according to my clock, it's 1:43. We'll set off the alarm. The kit comes with a Band-Aid if you want it. You don't really need it. What I want to show you is my test strip has already turned pink. Do you see that? It's already a pink line there. So we're going to wait 10 minutes to 55 on the hour. You can throw these in the trash. It's not as sharp because it's totally retracted. What I want to do is show you. Let's see. I don't know if it's better on my cell phone. Let me see if I can do it from my laptop. You know what? I should have had this pulled up, but I'll show it to you later. Here, let me see on my laptop. Okay, so what you will see is, can y'all see that? There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So what I want you to notice is that blue line at the top is the control line. It will turn pink. That says it's a valid test. So see, my line is already pink. All right. Now, this gives you 10-minute results in 10 minutes. That means it's a valid test. The blood sample goes into the top well. The buffer solution goes into the bottom round well. And you saw my blood was kind of stuck on the side, so I did put a little buffer in there. That's fine. Now, there is a C for control, a G for antibody G, IgG, and an M for IgM. Okay. IgM is the first antibodies that are created. That means you're currently infected. So this will test for current infection. IgG means that's longer. Those are the second wave of antibodies. So that means you've been infected in the past and you're no longer infected. You can get both IgM and IgG, which could mean that either you have it and you're still infected and your body is currently starting to form IgG antibodies, or it could mean that you had it in the past and now you're reinfected. Okay. So there is a 3 to 5 day window in any test that you take. Any test that you take, there's a 3 to 5 day window where, regardless, it can be nasal or oral, antigen, saliva, you will test negative, even though you have coronavirus. That's called science. You just don't have enough of the virus inside of you to show up. Usually by the time you start having symptoms, you will have formed a few antibodies. Now, obviously, the most specific, the most sensitive is going to be the PCR. If you if the person who's doing the testing actually got a hold of the virus sample, you might have virus. It might be higher enough to detect, but if they put that Q-tip up your nose and they miss it, or in your throat and they miss it, then you're going to test negative, even though you have a virus inside you. That's called a false negative. There are also false positives. False positives, when they're swiping you, could be due to it could cross-react with other viruses that are not SARS-CoV-2, like an adenovirus or coronavirus or other viruses. It could trigger a positive test result. And don't get me wrong, I love our lab workers, but you might have heard of stories where labs are batching several tests because they're overwhelmed with number of testing, and they'll put 10 different people into one batch. And if one of them tests positive, they're supposed to go back and retest all the individual ones. I will tell you, they've been skipping that step, and they've been telling everybody, all 10 of those people, that they are positive when they're really not. I hope that made sense what I said there. So that could be a false positive. But since this is a blood test, if it shows you have IgG in it, that means you've had coronavirus in the past. All right. If it says if it says you have IgM, it means that you are actively infected with coronavirus. It doesn't say you're contagious. So, like, the current CDC guidelines are that if you test positive and you have mild symptoms, in other words, you don't have to be hospitalized, then you can isolate for 10 days. And after 10 days, you can go out into the real world. Well, with this test, what we know now is what happens if you retest and you still have the IgM. Well, it doesn't mean that you're contagious. You know, it means your body is still actively fighting it, but you might be, you're not shedding live virus. And the answer is we don't absolutely know 100%. Not with the tests available to us mere humans, mere mortals. Okay. So I want to clear up that for some people who had that question. The results will be in 10 minutes. So we got 5 minutes left to go. Let me take some questions. So you do this at home. Here's my test. And this is the back of the test. I'm not going to show you the results. I'll tell you the results in 5 minutes. You don't send it into a lab. This does not work. I would not use this for travel, because usually the airlines have to, want you to get a note from a doctor or something like that. This is not due for return to work, because your boss probably has a system they already want you to use. They might require a doctor's signature. This is really for home use. I'm the only crazy one who creates these kits that you can get. And because I know that the answer to this, besides face masks, social distancing, hand washing, it's frequent testing, guys. You have to know your status. If we're going to defeat this virus, we have to know our statuses, not avoid it. Okay, so I test my entire family, me, Erica. I don't test the 4-year-old. I do test my 14-year-old who lives with her mom. Erica's mother's visiting. I tested her. I test my neighbor, Tom. My neighbor Tom watches my house when I'm out of town, and he has a 7-year-old daughter that like this. Their 7-year-old, my 4-year-old, love to play together. So I test him. I test his wife. He has a little cousin who's visiting for a few weeks, and so I tested her. She's 18, and that's really what you have to do. If this test kit is perfect, if you want to have friends and families over, if you want to have a relatively normal Thanksgiving, right? So the CDC is going to tell you, like, don't gather. It's indoor, and this is right. This is accurate. Studies are starting to indicate that it's like small indoor gatherings that are spreading the coronavirus, but that's only because we don't test. You don't have frequent testing. Now, nothing is 100%. I want to say that very clearly. Nothing is 100%. This is 95% accurate. So in other words, if I wanted my family to come over for Thanksgiving and I said, hey, everybody needs to get rapid tested, and they all test negative or nasally tested, you can have them get nasally tested, then everybody comes over, you will know within 95% certainty with this test that you have a 95% chance that you're not going to catch coronavirus. Did I say 100%? No. Could you still have someone get infected? Sure. There's that 3 to 5 day window. There's a possibility that grandma didn't form enough of an immune response to have antibodies show up, or it could be a very low level of viral load. It doesn't show up as an antibody. But that's the same thing with a PCR, with a nasal, right? But that's how we get past that. 95% is a fucking A, everybody. You're going to do good. You guys in high school, you ugly people out there saying negative things. I'm not even bothering reading the comments right now because I know some of them are going to be ugly. But you guys are the ones who made fun of the nerds like me and was like hoping you could get a C in science and a C in math. Well, this test is 95%. It's an A. Your PCR is only about 70% accurate on a good day. And the reason why is because there's a lot of error in there built into the system, especially when you're overrunning the system and these labs aren't running these tests on an accurate level, and you're running out of reagents and stuff. Trust me, there are issues with that PCR. Okay. So if you want your family to get together, message me, facebook.com/Dr. Vong. Says, Dr. Vong, I want 40. I want you to understand that the minimum order is 40. If you go online, you can Google it. Google rapid test, antibody rapid test. There's different types of rapid tests, but do the antibody rapid test. And you can find these for 150, 200, 250 bucks. But you'll still have to go to their lab. You'll still have to wait in line. I'm the only crazy one who put it all together into a kit that I mail it to you and you test it at home. Oh, drum roll, we got 30 more seconds. And your status. You got to know your status. All right, time is up. You want to read this test between 10 to 15 minutes. Anything after 25 minutes, the test is no longer valid. The results are no longer valid, okay? So I just pricked my finger. I just did a rapid test on myself. Let's see the results. Drum roll. Boom. Dr. V is negative. You see that? That's negative. One pink line. If it was positive, you would see this IgM and IgG. In fact, I will show you a positive test here in a second, if you will bear with me. So here's a test. Erica's brother. This is from yesterday. Erica's brother came down with coronavirus back in July. And see, you guys see this? I tested him yesterday. So here's his control test on top there. And now he has the IgG antibody, which shows he had it in the past. But there's no IgM, so he's clear. There's no IgM, okay? Okay. Here is my friend's test in Arizona, who's that's his control test, and he had coronavirus and he was still sick. He still had a small cough at 3 weeks after his doctor diagnosed him with negative, and he's still positive. He still has an IgM line, and he still hasn't formed the IgGs yet. So this means he was actively still fighting his infection. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to show you. Here's another test. See that? There's the control line. There's the positive IgG. You see, it's a very slight pink. So this person, I'm a little worried that they're starting to lose their their antibodies. We talked about that, about people losing their antibodies. You see how it's a really faint blue, faint pink line? Yep. Okay. That could be problematic. Here is a negative test right there. Only one line, only the control line. It's like a pregnancy test. Okay. All right. So Dr. V is negative. Negative. All right. I know my status. I'm good to go. I'm good to hug, my babies. I'm good to snuggle up with Erica. I'm good to within 95% accuracy. So if you're interested in these test kits, go to facebook.com/Dr. Vong, message me. These are, I can sell them 5 for $500, 5 for $500, or I will wholesale them to you for $50 each, minimum order of 40 tests. If you order 40 tests, that's only this weekend. Next week, I'm going to increase it to 50. 40 tests, that is times $50 each. That's $2,000 plus $100 FedEx overnight shipping, $2,100 total. $2,100 total. All right. Let's take some questions. Let's take some questions. And I realized, trust me, if you were in my challenge, I've been telling my people who are in my monthly challenge about the financial economics. Okay, if you're watching and you are in the challenge, just comment real quick. Have I not been preparing you guys for the economic downturn that's coming since April? We did a pivot in my challenge in April because I said, this is not good. People are going to lose jobs. People are going to suffer. So I really take a little bit of offense when you sit there and say you don't realize. I do realize. I do know what's going on. But see, Angela Conaway. Yes, I have been. Right? Yes, you have. Thelma is in my. Yes, you have. Whitney is a founder. Yes, he has. I'm currently in his challenge. Right? Yin Yang, every prediction correct. So far, so good, right? Ashley's in the challenge. Laurie Clay, you've been telling us since April about the economic downturn, okay? Michelle Connor doing her side hustle. I've been teaching people about their side hustles. All right, let's do some questions real quick. If you guys have no questions. All right. Does that mean you can buy? No. Listen. You have to not think like that, Charity. One test, one time does not mean shit. That's why it's repeated, frequent testing. That's why when you guys back in July, and it's about to happen again, watch me, it's about to happen again, that you're waiting 3-4 hours in line to get a nasal swab, and then you don't get your results back for 10 days, 10 to 14 days. Who remembers that? Well, that test is useless, because you could have been re-exposed in those 10 to 14 days. I test myself every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on my travel schedule. Okay. Zappa, how can you purchase? You go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Dr. Vong, and send me a message. It says, I want 40. Kristen McCall, long-time follower. How long does IgG last? Well, hopefully it lasts a long, long time, but with coronavirus, we're not sure. Nicholas Torres, 5 for $500. Yep. Or 40 for $2,000, 40 for $50 each. All right. Yep. That's right. 3 recommended at retail is $345, if not more. When we did our first test, it took us 15 days to get results. That's a wasted test, right, Bonnie? During 15 days, you were nervous, you were scared, you were worried about spreading it to your friends and family. So not helpful. Shelf life and how's it stored? It is room temperature. There's nothing special about it. It's like a pregnancy test. It's on my shelf. And it expires April 2022. April 2022. So you have 2.5 years. Surely you can do that. I'm not going to tell you the brand, but I will tell you it's on the EUA. So it's on the FDA EUA list. Okay. So the FDA EUA list. See, this person is part of the problem, and probably not even a real person. We'll just put him on block. Winter's coming. Don't email me. I have 4,000. Watch this. If you guys want to email me, don't do it. You see that? 4,471 emails, and that's only because I deleted 500 this morning. So what you want to go is to Dr. Vuong, facebook.com/Dr. Vuong, and send me a message. Okay. Send me a message. There are lots of bots. You are correct on that. Okay. So thank you for watching Zapazowie on YouTube. All right. Any questions? Any questions? All right. So one test for a Thanksgiving get-together is okay. That's a tricky question because remember it's 95%, not 100%. But if you're comfortable with that, it's different because if they're flying in, then what you're doing is you're going to be exposed in the airplane, airports, taxis, or rent a car center. So you really should quarantine at least 3 days and then take the test to be negative. But if they're within driving distance, if your family's within driving distance, same town or next town, and if they just tested themselves before they came over, right, the day of that they came over, pretty sure that that 95% accurate. Sure, poor unemployed people need to make more money and get more jobs. Side hustles, mow yards, clean houses, paparazzi, side hustle, essential oils, sex passion parties. I don't care. How does the COVID virus compare to flu virus as in exposure and deaths? I think we know the answer to that. Much more dangerous, much more deadly. The current death rate in the United States is 4%. Mo, any idea how much zinc we need to be taking today to boost our immune system? No, I think a regular. I think it's not one thing, right? So you'll need a combination of zinc, vitamin D, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, you know it, passion parties. Yasmin, I saw a story in the news about a student in Houston, Texas, COVID-19 mobile teas. I did. I just watched that last night, Yasmin. I'm in Houston too, so I'm actually going to call him and see what he's using. If he's using a PCR rapid test or a saliva rapid test or an antibody rapid test, and we'll see. I get really irritated when people say stuff like this. And Steve, I didn't see your full thread, so I'm not getting onto you, man. But I dislike comments like this. Subtract nursing home deaths from the death rate. Why? Because their deaths are not as important. Because their lives didn't mean as much because they were old. What's your point? It's a really rude thing to sit there and say. Now, maybe your point is that, no, Dr. Vuong, I don't mean it rude. I mean that, early on, our politicians sent people back to nursing homes in New York City, yada, yada. And, but it doesn't matter. Why would you subtract her? I mean, they died. right? You can't sit there and say, oh, well, just subtract. Well, maybe someone wants to subtract your life because they think, you're not worth it. It's really an asinine sort of idea. When will the peak happen again in Houston? It will happen in December. I promise you, because the weather here, I'm in Houston currently, and the weather here is 80 degrees. It's beautiful. People are starting to get very comfortable. Our numbers are lowest that they've been in a long, long time, 450 cases a day, which is less than fucking Australia. I mean, which is more than the entire continent of Australia. And see, I know because I test myself. That's not coronavirus. I'm negative. So that means people, and if you're here in Houston, you probably have gone out and seen people dining and going to bars and stuff now. Schools are reopening, so it's just a matter of time. It's middle of October, so we're going to hit the peak again starting probably end of November when the weather gets colder, mid to end of November, and then we'll be in the middle of it around December time. Okay. Okay. Anyone pushing for herd immunity or basically promoting eugenics? Joint specialist, I would say to you that anybody promoting herd immunity does not know what the word eugenics means. So I think you're giving them more credit than they deserve, my brother. Right? I think that's an issue. But to your point, I think that anyone pushing herd immunity, it's at the cost of a lot of lives. We don't have to go that way. We don't have to go that way. And what you're going to see is Sweden is starting to uptick again. So the poster child for herd immunity, even though they did, social distance and isolate, they just didn't shut down as hard. They're having an uptick now. Okay. If you're in a cold weather climate, you need to have a face shield and a mask on at the same time. Okay. So this is the stuff that causes people to get blocked, for example. The rapid tests are effective at diagnosing people about 5 to 7 days after symptoms show up. Once the body has a chance to produce antibodies, true. Partially true. Your body does need to produce antibodies. It's not 5 to 7 days after symptoms. I would say it's closer to 5 days after exposure because your body is starting to already work its machines. By the time you get symptoms, you should already have antibodies. Your body should be going. Now, you might have symptoms and don't have any antibodies yet. That could be due to a low viral load or your body's inability to make antibodies. And that might be because you're immunosuppressed. You could be taking a medicine that's immunosuppressing you. So that's why it's not 100% accurate. There are host factors that deal with that. And I was trying to talk to a client about that yesterday who was trying to understand that. Okay. I don't want to get into eugenics, guys. David Wickland, do you see a re-shutdown happening again like here in Wisconsin because of the recent drastic spike in record numbers now, plus this cold weather climate? I think the only thing going for the Midwest, not the only thing, but one of the major things is that you guys aren't as densely populated. So if this was a scenario like what you're about to see in New York City and New Jersey, where people are living in high rises and stuff like that, it would be a much bigger problem. So I'll say it again. You're about to see, and I've been saying this for about a month now, you're going to see the next spike, second wave will start in New Jersey and New York City, where it was back in April, March, April. Okay. That's where you're going to see it for all that reasons. Cold climate, a lot of tourism, a lot of travel, a lot of attitudes, a lot of people who are just socially, they're just frustrated. And a lot of people living in high rises, condominiums, sharing mailboxes, taxis, subway systems. The next peak right now that's about to hit bad is Chicago. I don't know if I've been saying Chicago for about 2 weeks now. It's going to be, because it's a major city up north, cold, and they got hit a little bit during the summer, but not terrible. And they're about to have a real serious wave in Chicago. Mark my words, you guys are going to hear that. Okay. Chicago is the next bad one, but the real severe one's going to happen in New Jersey and New York City, that area right along there. Okay, so if you're interested in my rapid test, I just tested myself on screen here, little pinprick. I'm negative. It's an antibody test both IgG, IgM. It shows active infection as well as past infection. These sell online for anywhere from $150 to $250 each. I can sell them to you for $500. That's $100 each, so save you some money. But today, I will wholesale them to you for $50. $50 each, minimum order of 40. Minimum order of 40. So that is a $2,000 investment. Think of it as an investment. It's not a one-time test. The test itself, you can only do one time. So I'm going to throw this away. But you have to test yourself more than once. So that's why I recommend a high number of them. And you can keep 10 for yourself and your family and sell the other 30 or sell 20, make all your money back or make your profit. I would order 40, sell all 40, double your money. So now you took 2,000, you turned it to 4,000. And then take that, say, Dr. V, give me $4,000 worth, which, would be 80 tests. You turn that 4,000 into 8,000, and then take all your money off of it, your original 2,000, say, Doc, give me $6,000 worth of tests, right? And then we just keep going from there. That's how we get over this, guys, is that we actually regularly test, we grow up, we social distance, we wear masks, we wear face shields now if you're in a cold weather climate, and we test regularly. Testing regularly is the key. If you're interested, message me, facebook.com/Dr. Vong. Make sure you say 40 tests. I want 40 tests because I don't want you wasting my time. Please, I get a lot of messages. I want this to come out to you guys. I could make a website that sells it at regular price, but I'd rather I'm trying to help you help others, help you make some money, because I know you're going to need this. We're heading to a financial crisis where you're heading into job furloughs, layoffs, companies closing, businesses closing. I promise you need this, and people need it. It's going to be a hot commodity. Okay. All right. See you next time with the next stuff. New study from CDC suggests that Remdesivir is not effective. Remdesivir shows no benefits. I'll talk to you later. Thank you guys very much.